Greetings, beautiful people. Just a short one. I did my walk this morning and I did a video. It was rather a long video and I said quite a few things. And I thought it would be quite good to include it in my On Being Retired segments because I talk a lot about things to think about when you are retired. So, although it's not one of my scheduled episodes, I'm going to drop it here. So, hope you enjoy. Greetings, beautiful people. I'm just starting my walk, although I'm a bit late. But the sun is shining. It's Friday. I've made it through the week. So I'm really happy about that. I hope you're well and hope everything has gone well for you this week. I just wanted to share a few things actually. I was looking on the internet as I do and reading things. I'm always reading things regarding health and well-being because I just think it's so important. We get to this stage in life and it's just really important. And I know some people, why I do go on about it, I'm always hearing about people who are kind of giving up really. They've retired and they haven't got anything doing. They haven't really made friends. Maybe they're a bit more shy than some people, so they're not really going out there and saying, okay, let me get involved in anything. Sorry, excuse me. So I just really think it's important to share and encourage. And for those people that do listen to me or do follow me, yes, I just want to encourage them in case they are that person. Because I do speak to a lot of people who are like that. It is very windy just where I'm walking, so I hope that you can hear me. Anyway, I just jotted down a few things that I came across because it's things that I believe anyway, but I decided to share it. Let me just come out of the road. There's a car coming behind me. I decided to share it because or to mention it rather, because it is really important, because other people are sharing it as well. Anyway, it talks about sitting more than you're moving. And my experience, as I think I mentioned on Monday when I shared with you, was that where I hadn't moved for quite a while, I started to feel stiff because I wasn't well. I started to feel stiff and aches and pains and so forth that, I usually maybe have were coming back. And I thought, I need to get moving again. So I was glad that I was feeling better. I mean, you do have to take time out to rest your body. But within that time, you need to think about when you're going to start moving again. And it was saying about even if you're watching TV, even if you're not going out, every, half an hour or so, get up, walk around the house, stretch, do some sort of movement and you're actually sitting. You're actually sitting more than you move. So you need to make sure that you get up and are moving just as much as you're sitting, if not more, if that is possible. And that is why sometimes I think in one of my episodes of On Being Retired, I mentioned about going out and meeting friends, and I think I also mentioned, sometimes you could just go to shopping malls, have a little nose around, not that you're buying anything, and you could just look around, see what's there, because we've got to a stage where we've got everything, but it's just nice to see different things, and maybe just treat yourself to a hot drink and a slice of cake even. I do, even though I eat healthy, I make sure I do that. So sitting around. The next thing they said about mentally retired, and some people when they retire, they don't get involved in doing anything, they just mentally retire as well. And what I will mention here is my father. Morning. What I will mention is my father. My father, when he retired at 60 back in those days. And when he retired, my father got involved in all sorts of community things. In fact, when he died, they described him as a pillar of the community because he did. It was like a whole new life after 60 for him. You know, he used to work for the post office. And then, once he retired, he started doing, all sorts of other things. Good morning, morning. So he never mentally retired. And I intend to be like my father. He lived into his 80s, So, and I saw the difference, to be honest, with my dad and my mum, because my mum, you love her to bits, obviously, is my mum, but she had a total different mindset from my dad. And I saw from earlier on, it was like she just didn't do anything. It was like we and the grandchildren and her husband, they were her life. And when grandchildren grew up and they weren't around, it was like, anyway, let's not go down that road. So, but my dad, he was a person, he really got involved in the community and doing things. So he didn't mentally retire at all. And eating, I think we have to have a bit of what we fancy. And I don't believe in all these diets that they have out there. If you have a balanced way of eating, if you make sure you eat a balanced meal, and when I say that, well, I shouldn't even say balanced, because on this thing that I was listening to, they said we should be eating more proteins than anything, more proteins and vegetables, because our digestive system changes. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but I noticed that certain things that I used to eat, I really cannot eat anymore, or I can't eat the way I used to eat. So you've really got to follow your body as well, and what your body is telling you, rather than just carrying on. Now I've got to pause here for a moment, and I need to talk to this lady. So just pausing. Yes, for that pause, I had to pause. There was a lady that we were in the same place yesterday, and we didn't realise, because I look like this when I'm walking. She wears a hat when she's doing her gardening. So when we ended up in the same place, we didn't even know each other until another lady said, "Oh, yes, this is so-and-so." I thought, really? Anyway, let's not diverse from what we were talking about, from what I was talking about. So the next thing they said is living without a reason to get up. Make sure you've got a reason. And I understand that as well. And the things that they mentioned were like, when you had to get up for work, that was a reason, whether you wanted to or not. But I think of my mother again and the grandchildren. When you've got children, when you've got grandchildren, whether you're working or you're not working, you've always got a purpose to get up. And once you retire and family is grown, and maybe, God forbid, but a partner has passed that maybe you did a lot for, you could find yourself in a position where you don't really have a lot to do. And so you may find yourself just, laying down, resting all the time, watching Netflix or the like constantly, and not doing very much. So it did talk about, as I said, finding a purpose, and also learning something new, because you're never too old. Sometimes we tell ourselves these things, but we're never too old to learn. You're never too old to learn. As long as you've got life, you can learn something new. I learned to swim in my 60s. I had 3 lessons when I came here, because I had lessons before, but because you don't keep things up, you don't really start to build any confidence. And what I found when I did my lessons, I say I've only had 3 lessons, which I have. It took 3 lessons for me to learn to actually be able to float, because I couldn't float, and to actually swim. But every time I got in the water after that, it was like, oh gosh, can I really do this? And I would never just get in the water and start, especially because it was in the sea with nothing to hold on, that large expanse of water with nothing to hold on to. So I would never just get in the sea and start swimming. Good morning. I would always, oh gosh, can I really do this? And sort of contemplate and whatever, before I actually did it. And it took me going every day for a while to build my confidence to know that yes, I can actually do this. I'm going to pause again. Yeah, just people that you say morning to on your walk. Yeah, so it took me a while of doing that before I could build my confidence and say, yes, I know I can do this. I could just start straight away. So, as I said, and that was something I learned to do in my 60s. Good morning. Morning. Right. So, yes, you can always learn something new. I'm still practicing. I still go and make sure I practice because I haven't quite got my breathing technique right. But I'm working on it. I stopped having the lessons because as a retiree, living on a pension, you need to watch how you spend your money. So you spend your money on what's necessary. You also spend your money on what you really want to do. And don't get me wrong, I really want to learn to swim. Because I've learned the basics, I don't think, and I'm not looking to be no Olympic swimmer, I don't think I have to keep on paying for lessons. So I could use my money other ways. Anyway, so that's something that I'm still persevering with, obviously, because I do like being in the water. But yes, you can learn something new. Okay, so all of what I've said now is really just to, let you realize that you need to really think about life and how we approach it as we get older, and keep ourselves active, keep ourselves busy, and keep ourselves healthy. Anyway, I've spoken for a long time this morning, so I'm going to sign off now. But you stay blessed, and I will catch up with you again. Have an awesome weekend ahead, and enjoy. This is Missy Mac over, not out. Bye for now.